Ladies and gentlemen, please help me and welcome our keynote speaker, Adeola Fayehun. You can do better than that. Let's give her a clap.
Thank you. I'm very shy. What's up, my people? It is so good to finally be with you in Calgary, Canada. Yeah. Thank you. I've been looking forward to this trip for a long time. And since I learned it, like the hospitality has really, it's mind-blowing. You guys don't understand. You've completely messed up the asparagus of the photosynthesis inside the medulla oblongata of the vernacular system of my brain. Like, for real, I'm messed up. I'm like, Nigerians, this nice in Canada, for the Lord Almighty. As a matter of fact, at the airport, you guys will not believe, at the airport, they made me an honorary Calgarian. Like, what? They gave me a certificate. I'm like, I didn't know that it's this easy to become a Canadian citizen. So can I take this to go and get my Canadian passport? Wait, what? No? Father Lord Almighty. You're trying to tell me I've been scammed, just like that. Oh my God, Milojuo. Where is Kalidowo, by the way? Because he's supposed to be translating what I'm saying. He's probably somewhere out there taking photos. He thinks he's a celebrity. That's the problem. So, anyway, I bring you greetings. I'm here with my friend Kat. Kat, say hi to people. So it's me and Kat and Kalidowo that are here. He's outside. He's taking photos. Like I told you, don't worry. You meet him after the service. But I bring you greetings from all my uncles. As you guys know, I have a lot of them. I mean, Uncle Dino Melaye says hi to you guys. Uncle Bukola Salaki, one in Kinyo. Ayala Lorning, are you here? Anybody here from Kwara State? Say what? Oh my goodness, let's talk after the service. I bring you greetings even from Uncle Buhari himself, as in, Baba Buhari says to say hi to all of you. All my uncles, uncle in Lagos, what is the name of my uncle in Lagos? Uncle Tinubu. Every one of them, they said to say hi to you. Now, for those who don't know who I am, that's wonderful. You're welcome to this program. At least you guys will be able to help my market tonight by telling the rest of them that I'm actually very gentle and very quiet. And why are you saying that? You're supposed to help my market. I'm very gentle. Don't be saying that. It's just that I like to keep it real, as you guys know. If you're here tonight and you work for the Nigerian government, it as well. I like to greet you extra, you see? I'm greeting you wherever you are, as well. People will tell you that I'm very gentle anyway, so I can't really help you. You're on your own. You did not see me, you didn't hear me, you didn't even smell me. I'm not here tonight. If you work for Nigerian government, it is well with your soul. Thank you for coming. So when they invited me to this event, I was so excited, of course. I was really excited. I'm like, any excuse to go to Calgary, all expense paid. Like, whew, girl, please, count me in. But at the same time, when I saw the theme of tonight's event, making an impact, excelling as diasporans, I was like, I hope that the planners of this event did not make a mistake. I'm like I wanted to call them and be like, are you guys sure you want me to come? Because if you don't know what I do, I'm that girl that just will not shut up about government officials not doing enough to provide basic amenities for everybody in Nigeria, not just those living in Lagos and Abuja. No offense to those of you from Lagos and Abuja, but Nigeria is more than Lagos and Abuja. So I'm just that girl that will not shut up about that. And because of what I do, I get abused every single day. I have people who appreciate what I do and all kinds of compliments. Thank you so much, all my loving people. Thank you. But at the same time, I get abused every single day, and I get called all kinds of names. I think my favorite one is when they call me a prostitute, because I found out that some African men, when they call you a prostitute, it's because they can no longer argue with they can no longer dispute your argument, so they just say, prostitute, you are a prostitute, So when they call me a prostitute, I'm like, yes, I'm making some sense, I'm talking to somebody. So, they call me a prostitute. Sometimes they tell me the job that I do, that's the reason I don't have a boyfriend. Amen. He put a ring on him before I started doing the show, but hey, we're not talking about that. Anyway, so I get called all kinds of names, and they also would say that, oh, I'm being sponsored by politicians, which is ironic because I'm usually yabbing politicians, not you, sir. Where is my father in the Lord? I'm usually yabbing politicians, and then they will say I'm being sponsored by politicians. And then if I talk about something that a particular party is doing, the other party would say they will say I'm being sponsored by the other party. When I talk about the other party, they will say I'm being sponsored by this party. Honestly, it's so hard for me to keep track of my sponsors. I don't even know them. You get what I'm saying? So I get all kinds of names. So when I saw the invitation to come and speak about success, I was like, wait a minute. Does that mean I'm successful? Which brings me to my very first point, that I think that success, even as Africans in the diaspora, I think is relative to what makes us fulfilled as people, to doing what makes us fulfilled as people. Now, when it comes to cash, making money, okay, you guys can probably tell already, your girl is still hustling, okay? I'm just a hustler. I work daytime, nighttime, part-time, and overtime, just like everybody else, I barely watch TV, even though I'm always making videos. I hardly have time to watch videos, and I hardly sleep because of what I do. But when I do sleep, I'll tell you this, I sleep well. I sleep well, and I'm fulfilled. I feel fulfilled because I'm doing something that makes me happy. I'm doing something that I can look back in years to come and be proud of. I feel like my voice is heard. Whether they want to listen or not, I make them listen, okay? And I feel like maybe I inspire somebody. Now, don't get me wrong. Money is very important. I'm not saying money is not important. Obviously, you guys will not pay my rent at the end of this month. So money is very important, but I also think that success is doing two things. And I think the very first one is being bold enough to do what you were created to do. Being bold enough to do what you're naturally wired to do. And of course, making good living while doing it, making money, that's very important. But I think success is not just doing something and making money, but doing what you were actually wired to do. And I'm saying this because that's what brings you real fulfillment. And I'm also stressing being wired because we're actually wired differently. We are not all the same. You see, some people are so well organized that when they come to visit you, they're organizing things, they are arranging things inside your house. So in their mind, they are arranging your parlor. They are like, this table should not be over here. That chair, the couch should be on here. And they're saying, hello, good evening. And they're looking at everything. Oh, no. They are arranging your parlor in their mind. Those people, they're so well organized. To be honest with you, I feel like this is one of the most well-organized Nigerian events I've ever been to. Honestly. And I'm not being sarcastic. I'm being real. Like, for real, you guys are so well organized. And then you started on time. I'm like, oh my God. We still have this set of Nigerians that will start on time. Amen. Somebody like you guys. Huge respect for you. And the person that I had been communicating with since I was invited to this event has been Miss Lillian Balogun. Now, this woman is on top of her game. Please give her a round of applause. The way that this woman is wired, like if you pay her to organize your event, to plan your event for you, like for her, it wouldn't be a job because it's natural for her. She loves doing this. She really enjoys it. And also some people are wired as leaders. Like they go to meetings and they automatically take up the role of leadership because they're just naturally really good. Even among kids, when they're playing, you could tell some of them that, okay, this one will be, he's a natural leader. And then some people, they never actually learn how to draw, but they can draw with their eyes closed. You cannot pay me to draw, okay? Some people are really good with languages. They easily learn new languages. They can easily teach others different languages. For people like that, if you pay them to teach you a language, they're excited. Some people love to fly. Like you can be a flight attendant if you don't like to fly. You just be panicking every time you are up in the sky. I don't think you can be a good doctor if you don't like the sight of blood or wound. Some people like to dress themselves up and dress other people up, okay? Like the stylist that dressed me up tonight. Amen, somebody, how good do I look? Just, let me just like, and now the cameraman is not here. Okay, camera woman, sorry. Please, let's give a round of applause to Miss Tosin Shobowale. Where is she, mama? I beg, stand up. They need to see your dress. This is the stylist that dressed me up tonight. If you have any event coming up, hook up with this madam. And she does international as well. Or you have a birthday coming up, you want to do a photo shoot. And I mean, I look so cute. Like, my husband is like, is that you? I said, yes. Let's go for honeymoon again. Anyway, some people also love working in the corporate world. They love, getting promoted and traveling to represent their companies. Some of us don't really care about working for big companies or getting promoted. We just want to be our own boss. Amen, somebody. And then, there are some of us that are just naturally quiet. Okay, we're very gentle. We don't talk much. You don't have to pay us to be quiet. It comes naturally. We're just like that. But some of you, God help you. Even if they pay you, you can't help yourself. You must to talk. You just cannot keep quiet. I'm just trying to let you know that we are all wired differently. So doing what you enjoy, doing what you were wired to do naturally, and also making money while doing it, to me, that is success and being fulfilled. Now, I'm not telling anybody to quit their job so that they can go after what makes them feel fulfilled, because you still have to pay bills, and no, I will not pay your rent at the end of the month. But I'm just trying to say that it is important, while you're doing what you do that makes you money, it's also important to do what thrills you, what makes you feel fulfilled, even if it means on the side. Like, there are a lot of business owners in here that will tell you that when they started their business, it was just on the side, maybe on weekends or when they have off time, until it was able to sustain them. But there were some of us that jumped right into what we wanted to do, and then we suffered. Yes, your girl has suffered a lot. Father, thank you. You have done well. So many of us, we have suffered, okay? But it's because we prefer to suffer at the beginning of our career and then enjoy it. Not that I'm not saying that, okay, I probably shouldn't say enjoy at the beginning of our career and then suffer at the beginning of our career and then enjoy it, because it doesn't apply to everybody. All I'm trying to say is, if you're true to yourself, eventually money would follow. Eventually, the word's definition of success would follow. But you first of all have to enjoy what you're doing. Like, you have to feel fulfilled. At the end of the day, you have to feel like, you know what? I really enjoyed myself. Like, when I'm shooting my show, guys, I'm having a blast. Like, I'm just looking at the camera and I'm making love with the camera. Okay, maybe I shouldn't say that, so my husband wouldn't be like, wait, you're cheating on me with the camera? But when I'm shooting my show, I light up, and I'm just myself, and I enjoy doing it. I don't think it's fair on yourself to go to work and be miserable and still stay there. Now, I'm not saying you should quit, like I said, but I think it's very important to be doing what you love as well on the side. To me, that is success, when you do what you actually enjoy. However, I believe success is not complete until you've experienced the joy of touching other people's lives. So to me, it's not enough to do what you enjoy and be fulfilled personally and make money. But it's very important for you to experience the joy, because there is a huge joy in touching other people's lives. And that brings me to my next point of giving back. Now, before I talk about giving back, I like to acknowledge, and I want you guys to know that I'm well aware of the challenges that you face. And I am very aware that living abroad doesn't mean that all our problems disappear. As a matter of fact, when we come abroad, we're suddenly faced with new challenges. Amen, somebody? Like, sometimes I look at the weather and I'm like, why did I ever leave Nigeria? Like, who sent me? Like, who is chasing me from my father's village? That I have to be out in this winter. But I also found out that all the challenges that we face, it's all about perspective. It's all about how you look at your challenges, how you look at what you call your problem. For example, like, I could look at winter as something to dread, or I could look at it as an opportunity to go skating, sledding, and also to have like snow fights with my husband. Amen, somebody. It's all about perspective. I could also look at it as a way of rejuvenating my skin after the harsh summer. Amen. After the harsh summer sun, winter comes and then my skin is like new again. God is faithful. Now, some of you, when you left Nigeria and you moved to Canada, you were faced with the challenge of being told that your Nigerian degree is suddenly not enough, and then you had to go back to school. That could be a huge disappointment. That could be seen as a huge issue and challenge for so many people. Or you could actually change your perspective about it and see it as, a stepping stone that will equip you to be able to compete with others on equal ground for the job that you want. It's all about perspective. It's like, what? If I go back to school, I will be able to apply for the job that I want. I don't have to do just a particular job all my life here. So it's all about perspective. Some of you've had to face the challenge of language barrier when you moved. I mean, I know some people that don't like making friends with people of other races because of language barrier. Or you could take that and see it as your reason for taking some classes to better your pronunciation and build your confidence, because there are classes for that. I'm not saying that you have to change your accent or who you are, but you want to make sure that when you speak, people can understand you and not having to constantly say, come again, come again. You know what I mean? So... No, it happens to me. Even now, my Nigerian accent, they said I have an accent. I said the devil is a liar. Anyway, so it's all about perspective. You can see it as your own reason to take those few classes. Also, I don't know if there are international students here. Some international students, sometimes they have to fend for themselves, and it's not easy. It's really, really hard if your parents are not paying your tuition anymore, or you don't get scholarship and you have to find your own way in a different country. But you can also change your perspective even about this, as seeing it as an opportunity to learn to develop the mechanism of surviving on your own, because if you can survive on your own in a different country, trust me, you can survive anywhere. If you can survive out on this street, you can survive anywhere. Now, don't think that I don't understand what international students go through, because I've been an international student myself. And as a matter of fact, some of you are better off than when I was an international student, because when I moved to the US 16 years ago as an international student, I moved to the US with $10. $10. Actually, it was $20. 10 for my brother, 10 for me. So, so we moved to the US each, with $10. And you know that my parents never had to pay a dime in our tuition? Not because they didn't want to, but they didn't have it. By the time, if they send everything they have, by the time it gets to, they convert it to American dollars, it's practically nothing. But we were so fortunate because we got scholarships. We were able to get scholarships, in which I am extremely grateful for. But as you probably know, it's not full scholarship, it was partial scholarship. So my brother and I, we had to do every single job that our student visa would allow us to do. Of course, we were working on campus, doing work study. I was working at 2 different departments doing work study, but it wasn't enough. I went on eBay and I bought a used sewing machine. My friend Kat, we went to collect together. She's a witness to this. And I bought a used sewing machine, and I would do alterations for students and for staff. It was a lot of work. I did babysitting, house sitting, dog sitting. I painted house one time like this. I don't even know how that even happened. I'm just trying to say every single job that we could do. And my brother was working the whole time as well. We suffered. We have suffered. But do you know that's actually what made me who I am today? I was 19 when I left home. Thank you. I was 19 when I left home, and since that time, I've never had to ask for money from anybody. And even my husband knows that I'm so independent. I am so, he's like, she doesn't care. She will make her own money, I'm so independent, and this idea of having to look up to someone for money is so strange to me. And I'm really, really grateful for that. I wouldn't have it any other way. I want to make sure that my kids, as soon as they're 18, I will kick them out of the house, because they must also learn how to survive. Now, I can survive anywhere. But do you know that despite all these challenges, I just wanted the international students to know that I could identify with the challenges of being an international student. But I gave all these examples just to tell you guys that it's all about perspective, how you see the challenge. You can always see your challenge as a stepping stone to doing greater things. But despite all these challenges that I brought up about you, do you know that being here actually puts you at an advantage? Being here, there are so many there are thousands of people that would instantly switch places with you, despite all the challenges that you think that you are facing right now. If you go to Nigeria and get to Lagos and announce, okay, I'm tired. I'm tired of Canada. These are the challenges I'm facing. Is anybody willing to trade places with me? Trust me, there will be lines of people, thousands of people that would love to be in your shoes. So I just want you to look at it from that angle, that every single challenge that you're facing right now, do not ever give up, because there are thousands of people that would love to be in your place. It's only a matter of time. Now, the fact that you are here means you don't have to deal with some mundane things, okay? First of all, because you're here, you never have to worry about up NEPA, down NEPA. Amen, somebody. I've been trying to listen to the sound of the generator since we got here. I still can't hear it. Are you hiding your generator somewhere? Maybe they are refueling it. Can you imagine the last time you were at a Nigerian event and there was no generator on standby, and NEPA did not take light at all, and you just knew they would not take light? When was the last time? Well, maybe those of you that live in Lagos or Abuja, but some of us from my village, it's a different story. Also, because you're out here, because you live here, you no longer have to worry about whether the road will be good or not when you get on the road. As a matter of fact, some of you no longer pray when you get on the road. You no longer pray before you get on the road. Meanwhile, when you were in Nigeria, you will pray, you will speak in tongues. Father, this Lagos, Wakude Road, oh Lord. This month, I must not go with this month. The month is ending. September, all the Baba months have started. And they said that is when the accidents increase. I don't know if you guys remember that. Anyway, you used to pray like that before you get on the road. How many of you prayed before coming here? Nah, lie. You did not. You knew that the road would be good, and if anything happens to you, the ambulance will be there. Anyway, I'm just trying to say that the fact that you're here, you have so many advantages because you're here, but I'm not denying the challenges that you're facing. I'm just saying that despite all those challenges, you're still better off, and we need to give back. Success to me is not just about doing what you enjoy, what makes you fulfilled, but experiencing the joy, because there is a joy in helping people, even people that you think do not deserve your help, and even people that will not appreciate it. Because trust me, not everybody will appreciate it when you give back. And success to me is helping people without expecting anything in return. Because when you expect something in return, you will be disappointed big time. You will be trying to help some people and they'll be trying to scam you at the same time. They just believe because you are in Canada or America, you are rolling in money. So if you do good to people because you are expecting something back, you will be disappointed. But being successful is being able to touch lives without expecting anything in return, even without expecting them to be grateful, but just knowing that at least it could be said of me that I did what I could do. Now, some of you probably know my story. My parents were missionaries, and my dad went back to Nigeria after studying in the US because he wanted to be a missionary and touch lives. He wanted to give back. He was also the HOD of the CRS department at the College of Education at the time, but that was his daytime job to make money. The job that actually gave him fulfillment was being a missionary and going to remote villages in the local government area where I'm from, 16 of them. So I grew up going with my parents to remote villages. I'm talking about really remote, that you have to drive for hours to get to some of these villages. You have to drive for hours on untarred roads. And sometimes I would go with the gospel team in the big bus. So these villages, of course, no electricity, no running water. And we would sleep on mats. We would have to get up early in the morning to take a shower outside before people come out and see you naked. Sometimes we have to go to the river to fetch water for us to come and take shower in the village. And then we would take medications like Motrin, ibuprofen, just painkillers, because for some elderly people in those villages, that's the only miracle that they want. They have all this aching parts of their body, and just one Tylenol or one Motrin will solve all their problems. People that are sick, my dad would take them to the hospital. I cannot count the number of elderly men that had cataract that my dad would take to the hospital, and they would operate on their eyes and they would get their sight back. Because in some of those remote villages, once an elderly person gets cataract, they just abandon them until they die. And I'm talking from experience. Like, my dad sometimes would get to a village and he would ask about someone and they would be like, no, he's inside somewhere. By the time they open the door, just the smell that comes out alone, you'll be amazed because they've abandoned this person that they're going to die like that. And of course, my dad would take them to the hospital in the city. They will operate on their eyes. They will get their sight back. When they get their sight back, it's like they got their life back. Finally, now they can go back to farming and providing for their family. And despite the fact that we were sleeping on mats, going to the river to fetch water, do you know that those were some of the best times of my life? Like the joy of just seeing how their faces would lit up and how much they appreciate what you were doing for them. Like, I didn't know that it was suffering, I didn't know we were suffering. I really, really enjoyed it. Also, my dad, he wasn't like the regular missionary. He was more of like an activist with a missionary combined. Amen, somebody. But I guess once you've lived abroad and you were an international student, my dad was also an international student. When you were an international and you suffered abroad and then you go back home, you cannot just be raising money to buy private jets. Amen, somebody. So my dad, he was really vocal against the atrocities of the state government where I'm from, because you know how sometimes the government, they would purposely just ignore some towns and some local government when it comes to development. My dad will just not have it. He was very vocal, and people were trying to convince my dad to run at that time. He was like, no, but he will always speak up when there's something that is wrong going on against his people. Not only that, whenever we didn't have electricity for like 2-3 days, my dad would be at the NEPA's office to fight with them. And many times they would tell him, Reverend, we don't have oil in our, they don't have fuel. Can you imagine? And my dad would go and buy them fuel. Whatever they needed, he would provide and say, so what else? What else do you need? And they would turn on the lights, and we'll have lights. The way people usually know that my dad has traveled out is if there's no light for like a week or more. They'll be like, Reverend Ladelo is not around. And also my mom, the same thing. Like every Easter, Christmas, or special holiday, my mom will buy bags of rice, bags of beans, jerry cans of palm oil. We will put it in little bags, and for days we would just be going around town, giving it to widows. So all the widows in town, they knew that every Easter, every Christmas, they would get something. Somebody would remember them. So it wasn't a surprise that 10 years ago at my dad's funeral, first of all, the crowd, I was amazed, like, where are all these people coming from? Also, I cannot count the number of people that came to me and my siblings. I'm the youngest of 6. Just to tell us, your dad was the one that paid my kids' tuition. Your dad was the one that helped me get my sight back. Your dad was the one that did this, that did that. Do you know that day, nobody was talking about his master's, his PhD. Nobody was talking about his degrees. They were all talking about how he touched their lives, what he did for them. And then there were people that were crying that day simply because they were like, what are we going to do when NEPA takes light? Can you imagine? I'm like, seriously, I just lost a dad. You're worried about NEPA taking light. But do you know they were actually right? Like, after my dad died, the electricity in my hometown has just never been the same. I don't know, but nobody else had bothered to cultivate that relationship with them when he was alive. Anyway, I said all that just to remind you that I want you all to be successful, and you all already are successful. But do you know that one day, we will all be on our deathbed? One day, we'll all take our last breath. And do you know that on that day, you won't care about the degrees you have. You won't care about the big companies that you work for. So many of you here work for big oil companies. You're making big money. That day, you won't even care about all that. What would matter that day would be the impact that you had in people's lives, like how you've touched people's lives. And that's why I want us to talk about this, because I believe that success is not just doing what you enjoy and making money, but it's also touching other people's lives, because there's a joy that comes from that. Now, so I know that you guys will remember that, but so let me go on. Anyway, when you touch people's lives, when you do that, one thing you should remember is you are rewriting people's destinies. You are rewriting their stories. And your kindness could change the trajectory of a whole generation. See, the people that gave the scholarship, the National Association of the Congregational Christian Churches, that my dad was a missionary under them, They were the ones that gave the scholarship for my brother and I to study. They probably didn't know that I would be doing what I'm doing today, but because of what they did, that's why I'm standing here today. I strongly believe that if I didn't go to school in the US, I may not be this outspoken, and you probably may never heard of me. But I'm trying to say that when you touch somebody's life, when you sow into somebody's life, when you try to change somebody's life, however little way you can, you are changing the trajectory of not just their life, but their generation. Because of who I am, you know that my generation will not be naive about so many things. So when you touch people's lives, you are rewriting their stories. Before I sit down, I want to tell you a story. I met a viewer in New York last year, and he's a college student in New York. He told me that he watched one of my videos, and he was really inspired because I talked about giving back. I talked about someone that gives back. And because of that video, this guy went to Nigeria to see what he could do, because he's like, I'm just a student, an international student. And then he, not an international student. He lives in New York, but he's a college student. So when he went to Nigeria, he met so many students, and that journey, it changed his life. He came back, and today he's sponsoring 27 primary and secondary school students. Excuse me. I'm like, this is a college student in New York. How are you sponsoring 27 different people? And he said to me, do you know that some of these primary schools and secondary schools, their tuition is only like 2,000 naira to 5,000 naira. And so if he's sponsoring 27 people and paying 5,000 naira, that's like 135,000 naira. In American dollars, that's a little over $300. So he's like, from my pocket money, I can afford to do that. But do you know that he is changing 27 lives, 27 different generations? And he's just a college student. But you need to see him talk about this, the way he lit up. Like, it's as if that's the biggest achievement of his life. He's so happy. He feels so fulfilled. And that's why I believe that success is not complete until you've enjoyed the joy of giving back. Now, in conclusion, I've talked about what it means to be successful, and I believe that is being bold enough to do what you actually enjoy, not just to sit in an office. There's no offense to those who sit in offices. Maybe that's what you enjoy doing. I think success is going after what you really enjoy doing, but not just that. I think success is also giving back and touching other people's lives, regardless of the challenges that you face yourself. Like, there are some of you here, maybe you started your business and it's not going well, and you're like, when is it gonna pick up? When is it gonna do well? Just stick with it. Don't ever give up, because if you can stick with that and you're successful someday, you may become the go-to person for those who are starting their own businesses and they're frustrated. But you have to be frustrated now so that you can know what they're going through, so that you will be able to help them when the time comes. But again, as you guys know, I don't really know much. I just like to keep it real. All right, y'all, it's been real. And I'm keeping it right up in here. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to come here. NIDOA will be somewhere back there if you want to see him after the service. Until next time, I must see you all later. Thank you so much for having me. Peace out.
Can we just give her a round
Let's
of
keep the
applause?
clap coming. Let's keep the clap coming. She has enough energy for everybody in this room.
Exactly. I mean, it's kind of a tough act to follow.
I don't think we
after
need
that.
to serve her food. She has clearly eaten. She
No
has
rice
clearly
for you.
eaten.
All right. So I think we can progress to item 7.
Item 7, my favorite part.
I-
Not that, no, actually, the part that just came
That was your
before.
favorite
That was my
part.
favorite,
Okay.
but this will be my second favorite part.
Okay.